Hi, and welcome to the second monthly meeting of TV Toastmasters. My name is Rick Barron, and I'm the president of the club. If you're confused about the second meeting thing, visit our website, www.tvtoastmasters.com, and it'll straighten all of this out, that we are now meeting twice a month. We had only been meeting once a month before. Now we added this meeting today, first Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. at the Anderson Center, 7850 5 Mile Road. Please come and visit us. We'd love to see you. It's great that we've got a nice, concise group of people here today who are really interested in improving themselves and their speaking skills. I'd like to welcome our guests. Maddie Horton. Welcome back, Maddie. You were here the previous Saturday. And Lynn Aronson. Welcome, Lynn. I'd also like to welcome our newest member of TV Toastmasters, Viola Jordan. Viola, you were here at the meeting with Maddie as well last time and made the choice to join TV Toastmasters. Congratulations.
I'd like to begin tonight with a little joke. This guy, he's a farmer, and he says, "Hey, hello, sorry." But seriously, folks.
Speaking in public is no joke.
Doctor says, chicken says...
For help, call Toastmasters, the public speaking support group.
The chicken...
So we've got a brief meeting today, nowhere near the normal meeting that we've got. And what we're doing is we're really building critical mass on Thursday. So we've added the second meeting of the month because there are a number of you out there that we know that can't make it to a Saturday meeting. And so we added the meeting during the week to expand the group of people that we appeal to, those who can't make it on Saturdays because they've got some other conflict or an appointment with their pillow. We've opened it up on Thursdays, so now there's really no excuse why you can't come join us at TV Toastmasters, either on the first Thursday at 6 p.m. or the third Saturday at 9 a.m. Now is introduce our Toastmaster for today's meeting. She has been called Ms. Toastmaster. This is her second Toastmaster meeting today and her fifth meeting this week. Please help me welcome Carol Kormelink.
Thank you, Mr. President, and welcome everyone. It's glad to see you all here. We're going to have a good meeting today. I'm excited about our meeting. We have an impromptu session, and then we have a planned speech session, and then we have listening and feedback. We will have two speakers today. Viola will be giving her icebreaker speech, and Rick will be Steve Ahrenholz will be giving a program for the successful clubs from the Successful Club series. But we start our meeting. We've already had our welcome guest and our Toastmaster, me, and I'm the one that keeps the meeting flowing. Go. Keeps everybody on track there. And we start off with our word of the day. And our word of the day and grammarian today is Mary Arms. And if Mary would come up and give us our word of the day.
Thank you very much. Well, the word of the day is candor. And it means quality of being honest and straightforward in attitude and speech. Candor, and it's a noun. Let's put another piece there. That's not going to stick. And thank you so much.
Thank you for that word of the day, candor. And that's one thing I've been accused. I have too much candor. And I said I've never had a filtered thought in my life, and I need to learn. I don't have to say everything that I think, especially if I'm not asked my advice. The trick of using the word of the day. When you're up here at the lectern, do your best to use the word candor for the day. And Mary will be counting how many times we use candor today. Our Tabletopics master, Rick Barron, will be leading us in giving us, this is a time to learn how to speak impromptu. First you have to listen well, and then you think quickly on your feet, and then you answer effectively. This is when that boss asks you the question, and instead of going blah, 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 you're able to give him a rather satisfactory answer. Mr. Tabletopics master, Rick Barron. Let's give him a hand here.
Thank you, Carol. The weather turned back to sunshine today. It was wonderful to see everybody outside enjoying themselves. You know, people would just turn and face the sun and just to suck it up. It's just so nice to see the weather change and to see those transitions. And it got me thinking about the other kinds of transitions that are in our lives, and to think about the things that really we hold true. You know, what are some of our favorite times of year? Lynn Aronson, what is your favorite time of year?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, ready?
I guess I am. These lights are blinding. My favorite time of the year, I am a Chicago kid, and my favorite time of the year is winter. I love those days when it is 20 degrees and there's been snow, and maybe 5-6 inches of snow, and it's a Sunday, and it's quiet and beautiful. Everything is covered with snow. We don't get that although this winter we certainly did, but we don't get as much snow here as I used to get when we were in Chicago. One of my favorite visions of this winter is we had a great big evergreen tree, and a male cardinal whose plumage is much redder than the female of the species, would sit and land on this snow-covered evergreen. And it was absolutely stunning. It was like a Currier and Ives painting of the day. As long as I didn't have to walk in it, catch a bus, catch the L to go to work, those days were wonderful. And we would sit in our picture window in the front of the house and just watch the beautiful weather until we had to go out and shovel it. That's another story altogether. But that's my favorite time of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
You're most welcome. Yeah. You thought I was going to say spring or summer home.
Everybody, you do, right?
Oh, somebody that likes winter besides me. Yes, I know I'm from Wisconsin.
Thank you, Lynn. I think you did surprise some of us by choosing the season that most of us are glad that we're rid of, or I think mostly rid of. I don't think that we're totally done with winter in Cincinnati just yet. But as I start thinking about the warm weather, my mind goes to all of those great things that I love doing during the summertime. And Maddie, why don't you please come up here and tell us your favorite summertime activities?
Thank you. When I think of summer, I think of just being alive. I think of my family going out and barbecuing on the deck, having people over to share food. Summer is one of my favorite. I was born in the summer. I'm from down south, so we have, I'm used to the hot weather. Just being able to be around people, around family, and And usually in the summertime, we have a lot of gathering, partying. So that's why I like summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. I think summer is probably one of the most enjoyed seasons. You know, the kids are off school. Everybody has an opportunity to spend time doing, in many cases, a lot of the things that they enjoy. And one of those things that typically happens in the summertime is people take their vacations. And as I think about the vacation plans that I have for this year, I was curious, Rick Davis, what kind of vacation plans do you have for 2011?
Thank you, Mr. Tabletopics Master. In all candor, we've been thinking about this. We actually started talking about it because actually yesterday was my mom's 81st birthday, and so she's not going to be around, you know, a long time from now, so we need to make all of our vacations useful. We need to see her and all that. She normally lives in Yuma, and during the summer it's very, very hot, and so she goes up to Seattle in the summertime for a couple of months. So we're talking about meeting her in Seattle, bringing our youngest son up from California, and our son and his wife to Seattle with us. We started adding up how much this is all going to cost, and we may have to modify the plans. But at this point, that's what we're thinking about, and we will see if it works. Mr. Tabletopics Master.
Thank you, Rick. Summer in Seattle. I've heard great things about spending time in Seattle, particularly in the summertime. So I think it's a fabulous destination, and that's probably why your mother enjoys it so much, because Seattle's got nice climate. I don't think it rains as much in the summertime as it does other times during the year. So good choice. I like that. Thank you, all three of you, for your candor today on how the transition of seasons has affected you. Carol?
Thank you, Mr. Topics Master. I met Rick Davis when I first joined Toastmasters 15 years ago, so I followed him through his sons growing up with skateboards. I did not know your son got married. I know he's out in California.
No.
Oh, the other one?
California is not.
Oh.
The one here is town.
When did he get married?
21st of March.
This year?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, didn't know that. Keeping up on you. Okay. We now come to the prepared session, and I did forget to tell you that for the table topics, Mary is sitting in the front row here, and when your minimum time, she shows the green card, and so with the icebreaker speech, so that you will know, Viola, at 4 minutes she will show the green, at 5 minutes she will show the yellow, which means start wrapping up, and at 6 she will show the red until you finish speaking. And you will have 4 to 6 minutes for your speech. You're giving your icebreaker. You just joined April 1st, and joined our club, and you are giving your icebreaker already. I'm thrilled. I am her mentor, and we've met already and talked about things. And I'm excited to listen to Viola Jordan giving her icebreaker on 2 fears. Let us welcome Viola Jordan, our newest member.
Can anyone tell me what the 2 greatest fears are? Deaf, you're exactly right, and fear of speaking. And guess what? I have been victimized by both. Some people would rather die than to give a speech. And to be honest, I'll fake my death a couple of times to keep from speaking. I have spent my whole life building a case as to why I should not speak. I have actually been dying a slow death. And it's killing me. Physically, emotionally, and definitely professionally. In order for me to be successful at helping others, I have got to get over this victim role. And really, I have been a victim. And I have got to be able to conquer my fears. You see, I have this major plan and this burning desire to help people with mental illness and substance abuse issues. I would like to think of it as healing hearts in a non-traditional way. And to be ready, therefore, I must be ready at all times to advocate, to speak up, and facilitate. I must be impromptu speaking. I've got to be able to do that. So in order to do that, I have got to feel comfortable with speaking. Now let me tell you why I'm so interested in helping folks with mental illness and substance abuse issues, why I want to advocate for them. And after I tell you, you might also be interested. 24 million Americans suffer from depression. 30% of all clinical depressed patients attempt suicide. Now I know most of us are real uncomfortable with the topic of suicide. But every 16 seconds, someone attempts suicide. Every 90 seconds, someone actually takes their own life. What's also alarming is that 17 million people suffer from alcohol and drug addiction. 25% of these are teenagers. Let me break it down for you. 1 out of 8 adults suffer with alcohol or drug. 1 out of 3 children coming to school is affected by alcohol, from someone in the family, or from someone that they know. And actually, 1 out of 8 kids in your Sunday school or your congregation also is affected by someone with addiction issues. So you see, it's a major, major issue. Now, despite the impact substance abuse and mental health issues have on families and the community, we still really don't want to talk about it. We're still in denial. Now, regardless of your faith, your belief, and your values, mental health and substance abuse is really, it affects all of us. None of us are exempt. It affects us in some sort of way, in terms of our health, in terms of legal issues, and actually just think of the insurance, health insurance. And not only the health insurance, we also think about our taxes that we have to pay for folks with substance abuse and mental health issues that are not being treated. Now, as far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to help others with life issues. I think this stems from the fact that when I was at home, I grew up in rural Mississippi. Actually, I grew up 24 miles from Oprah. Like, whoa, what are the chances of someone growing up next to Oprah almost? I grew up in a very loving, my mom was very nurturing, my dad was a great provider. I grew up with 8 brothers and 1 sister, but my sister was 10 years older than I. So by the time I was a teenager, she was out of home. I really had no one to talk to. So really, I spent a lot of time talking to myself, and actually, to this day, I spend a lot of time talking to myself. Church, we went to church. That's what we did all the time. We went to church. That's what we did. And actually, really, to be depressed or to be sad was not a thing that you really wanted to do. You could not be sad in my family because God was too good to you. You know, actually, I can remember a time I was having so many issues until I packed my bags to leave home. And actually, I was feeling so terrible one time, I took 4 aspirins to kill myself. But surprise, I woke up. You know, that didn't work. But you know what? So I didn't have anyone to talk to. But actually, in school, I was known as the student counselor. So I was known as the student counselor. So let me tell you how I got to this wanting to really a passion helping others is that I have had 25 years of experience. I'm a licensed master's degree social worker. I'm a licensed addiction counselor. And more importantly, I have been led, spiritually, I have been led to do this. This is something that I really feel like I must do. So I must learn to speak, and I'm going to go out like as Obama said. I can do this. I know that I can, and I know that I will, because this is a passion of mine. I want you all to keep in mind that really 24 million people suffer from depression. Every 16 seconds, someone attempts suicide, and every 90 minutes, someone every 90 minutes someone commits suicide. It's very important that I continue my mission, and it's very important that I believe in myself, and it's very important that you believe in me. It's very important that you help me with this to become the person that I am striving to be. So with that, I would like to say thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Viola, for that great first icebreaker speech. You all have these little forms in front of you that is to write a few words of encouragement, let Viola know what her strengths are, how she might improve the next time she gives another speech. And pass those to her at the end. Our second speaker today, Steve Ahrenholz, is giving a presentation from the Successful Club series on how the club can do better and achieve quality meetings. Members learn about the skills and the standards that can be achieved in Toastmasters so that they and the clubs will be successful. And actually, without successful members, you don't have a successful club. So the member is at the top rung of the ladder in Toastmasters. Our Vice President of Education, Steve Ahrenholz, Distinguished Toastmaster, will present an overview of the Toastmasters educational program, and the goal of the presentation is to provide you with a better understanding of the requirements to achieve the communication and leadership skills that Toastmasters will help you develop. And help me welcome Steve Ahrenholz, the Successful Club Series Toastmasters Education.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, our guests, and our guests that are looking in from home. As Carol mentioned, what I'm going to be talking with you about today is the Toastmasters educational program. Some of our newer members probably will welcome this kind of a presentation, and I think even some of our longer-term members. Those of you who happen to be watching in for our Toastmasters program may also find this to be rather interesting, because I'm going to actually try to explain to you a little bit about how this all pulls together. When you join Toastmasters, one of the things that you'll get is a new member package. And inside that new member package, there are two manuals that come to you. One is the Competent Communication Manual, and this is our basic manual for learning different aspects of public speaking. It takes you through a number of things such as constructing your speech, the use of vocal variety, body language, using visual aids. One of the things I'm trying to do is hold this book real still so that the camera can focus on it. Some of the things that we learn on TV Toastmasters. And this has a series of 10 speeches in it, which once you complete those, you will achieve your Competent Communicator designation. It's the first level of communication achievement in the Toastmasters Education and Leadership program. Another manual that comes with your new member kit will be the Competent Leader Manual. This is something that is relatively new. Toastmasters has reworked their education and their leadership programs within the last several years. I've been in Toastmasters a bit longer than Carol, but not a lot longer. And initially we didn't have a Competent Leader Manual. So this is something that is newer. I would say it's probably within the last 5 to 7 years, something like that. Now, one of the other things that you may have picked up on was that I was introduced as a Distinguished Toastmaster. Carol is a Distinguished Toastmaster. Actually, Carol does it as Distinguished Toastmaster Cubed because she has achieved that status 3 times. You'll also hear Competent Communicator, Competent Leader. You'll hear or see the abbreviations of C for Competent Communicator, CL for Competent Leader. One of the things that I'm going to give you after I've completed my presentation today is what I think is a wonderful cheat sheet. This is something that Toastmasters has come out with since the introduction of the Competent Leader and the Competent Communicator Manual. And what it has is a complete breakdown on each side of this form for what constitutes the different education and leadership achievement levels within Toastmasters. If you go down this card, what you'll see is that each one is defined. I mean, on the communication track, they talk about 2 tracks, communication and leadership. The communication track has the competent communicator. It has the abbreviation for it, and it tells you what you will need to accomplish in order to reach that level of achievement in Toastmasters and in your personal and public speaking skills. The next levels of achievement follow. You have your Advanced Communicator Bronze, which sometimes you'll see as ACB, and when you are working on your advanced levels in Toastmasters, there are things that you have to have completed prior to that level before you can be awarded the subsequent levels of achievement, whether that's an Advanced Communicator Bronze, Advanced Communicator Silver, or Advanced Communicator Gold. One of the things I need to back up a little bit and cover with you is that once you have completed your basic Competent Communicator Manual, and that's submitted to Toastmasters International, which then registers that you have completed that, you will receive 2 advanced manuals, which will start you off towards the higher levels of accomplishment in Toastmasters. There are actually 15 different advanced communication manuals in Toastmasters, and they range from things such as communicating on television, which is what a lot of us here in TV Toastmasters are working through, or in my case, you've started it, but you haven't gotten very far. There are other topic areas such as technical presentations, interpersonal communication, selling, storytelling. So there are a variety of manuals that you get to pick from. Now, one of the reasons that there are a number of manuals is because for each of these advanced levels of communication, you are required to complete 2 manuals. And each of the advanced manuals will have 5 speeches in it, 5 project speeches in it. In addition to that, there are some other things that you are required to complete depending upon what level of achievement you're working towards. One of the things that you'll see is a presentation of either the Successful Club series or the Successful Speaker series. This presentation I'm giving you today is an example of one from the Successful Club series. It deals with topics that are relevant to the club and the membership. So you have your communication track, and on the other side I mentioned the leadership track, which starts with the Competent Leader Manual. Now, the Competent Leader Manual also has 10 different sets of exercises in it that you complete. And these deal more with leadership. A lot of them involve roles that you would have participating in a club meeting. But there are a few other things that you do need to participate in, such things as contests or helping with special projects that the club has. But once you have completed your Competent Leader Manual, there are 2 additional levels of achievement in Toastmasters as far as leadership is concerned. You have your Advanced Leader Bronze, which has some other accomplishments in it. It doesn't have another manual for you to complete, but it has some things such as holding office in the club. When you complete the Advanced Leader Bronze, you move on to the Advanced Leader Silver, which has some additional requirements. One of them is that you serve a term in the district leadership. Now, some of the newer members may not be familiar with these different levels within Toastmasters. We start with the member in the club. The member is the primary focus of Toastmasters. They are the people that the club exists for. We are here to help you achieve your communication and leadership goals. Supporting the club member is the club. And if the club member is successful, and that means that they are making progress achieving their communication and leadership goals, the club will achieve distinguished club status. There are a couple different levels of achievement that they can work towards. Outside of the club, you will have a couple of clubs, maybe 3 to 5, 4 to 6, something like that, that constitute an area, and you have an area governor. And they basically help the club to achieve what it is trying to provide for its members. Above the area, you have a division, which is a bigger collection of clubs. And this coming Saturday, which will be April 9th, we will be having our Western Division speech and evaluation contests. And if anybody would be interested in attending that this weekend, please see me after our meeting today and I can give you a bit more information about it. Then there's also the district leadership, and those are the people who are at the higher levels of Toastmasters as far as the operation of Toastmasters for multi-state areas. Our division that we have here covers 3 states. It covers West Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio. What I'd like you to also realize with these communication and leadership achievements is that they aren't mutually exclusive. And by that I mean you can be working on your competent communicator manual and at the same time you work on your competent leader manual. Maybe you want to give a successful club series presentation, which is a scripted presentation, and you give it to the club. It deals with a specific topic. Even though that isn't something that's required for the very first level of achievement, you can keep the record of that and apply it towards one of the advanced levels of communication achievement. So there are different ways that you can work through this. You work through it at your own pace. You can also do a couple of them simultaneously. Some people work out of more than one manual at a time. I'm doing good if I can find more than one manual at a time. But this isn't to restrict you to just one specific track. You can do what suits you best. And sometimes people will have a presentation they need to work on, and they'll look through a couple manuals they have, and they will find what they need to work on. Similarly, you will probably hear at some point in time that a lot of Toastmasters that have reached the higher levels of the education and leadership accomplishment actually go back and earn additional competent communicator awards. That's because we're never done growing. We're never done learning. And it's really helpful at times to go back and reacquaint ourselves with some of the basics, some of the things that constitute a good speech. And sometimes we tend to forget some of them, or we become so comfortable with it that we start committing some of those transgressions that we were trying to break ourselves from originally. I will give you one of these cards, as I mentioned, after I've finished up here today. And I think what you should do is stick it into your Competent Communicator Manual. Use it as a bookmark. It's something that will give you a quick reference to the different levels of achievement. It also has the key for the abbreviations, and I'm always looking for acronym codes, so it's helpful in that respect. And then it lays it out very nicely in the 2 tracks. And once you complete the communication levels, your competent communicator, advanced communicator bronze, silver, and gold, and then also have completed your leadership tracks, which is your competent leader, your advanced leader bronze, and your advanced leader silver. You have both of those tracks completed. You become a distinguished Toastmaster, which is Toastmasters International's highest level of achievement for speaking and leadership. So it all works together, and you can work on both of those tracks at the same time. I invite you to look through what's on this card, look through both of the manuals that you have, and start planning your strategy. Madam Toastmaster?
Thank you, Steve. That was very clear to me. Being a seasoned member, I understood everything. I'm not sure how the new people understand it, but on your seat there's an evaluation guide, and if you would fill that in and let Steve know how well you understood what he could have made clear for a new member, it's very clear for me. One of the things that we didn't mention, when you join Toastmasters, you receive a Toastmaster magazine every month, and the March meeting had a man 101 years old giving a speech. He's a distinguished Toastmaster. He's been in Toastmasters for 54 years. That means he joined in his 40s. Giving speeches at 101. He's vibrant. So that Toastmasters will keep you living longer if you're active in Toastmasters. We now come to the general evaluation part of the meeting, and I will introduce a general evaluator. I've known her all her life, Carol Kormelink. I'm wearing a dual hat this evening. Our first evaluator this evening is Rick Davis, who is also a DTM, a distinguished Toastmaster. He's one of the first distinguished Toastmasters that I knew in Toastmasters, and he will be evaluating Viola's speech. Let us welcome Rick Davis, distinguished Toastmaster.
Madam General Evaluator, Toastmasters, especially Viola. In all candor, when I came in here tonight, I said to Steve, I could really use a nap. But after your speech, you're so enthusiastic, you got everybody excited. It's great. You know, the level of enthusiasm. I'm really glad that you're a member of our club because I think you bring a real energy that's going to really, we're really going to enjoy in the future. The icebreaker speech is one of those speeches that I think everybody really enjoys because we get to know you. We get to know what's important to you, and we get to know how you got to where you are, and all that sort of thing. You spoke very clearly. You did use some notes, and at one point it looked like you'd gotten lost a little bit, but you recovered from that. And you told us about your life in Mississippi, which I found fascinating, and I think that's one thing that if I were to ask you to do the speech again, is to tell us a little bit more about your life in Mississippi and how you ended up in Cincinnati, because I think that's what we all want to know. Here's this person that we don't know anything about, and we'd love to find out how you got here and how you got to be a mental health professional, that sort of thing. What I'd suggest is when you use notes, just write down the statistics that you want to remember, because you knew everything else. You know, you were a little nervous up here, you went a little bit fast, but that's to be expected. It's your first speech. So I would just say, try to slow down. That'll come with experience. And I really enjoyed your humor. You told us that you've died many times to keep from speaking. I think that all of us can appreciate that. You had no ahs that I detected. I think you did a great job, and I really look forward to not only future speeches, but also you becoming an active member in our club. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Rick, for your candor and evaluating Viola's speech. I told you I would enjoy that, Viola, and everyone else did too. So thank you very much. For Steve, we will have a round-robin evaluation, and we will start with some of the Viola. Would you come up and tell us what you thought about Steve's presentation? How clear was it to you as a brand new member? If you would please come up and give us your feedback on how Steve did with his presentation. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, I didn't realize I was going to have to work so hard. Thank you for asking me to do that. It's a pleasure. You know what? I sat there and I watched you and I thought, well, I want to be as confident, as sure, as at ease, as sterile as Steve. That was just great. I felt like I could just listen to you go on and on. You was very confident and really sure and clear, and was very informative. I could listen to you longer. I really could. So I think that you're very good, and I have no complaints at all. So, and I am too looking forward to hearing from you more too. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Viola. The rest of you, if you will please hand your forms to Steve with how you thought his presentation went. The next part of my evaluation team is the grammarian report from Mary Arms to find out how many times that we use the word candor or any other grammarian little topics that she had here.
Okay, I was trying to get my paper straightened out and it went everywhere. Okay, now Rick Davis, you used candor 2 times. And that's all, at least that's what I counted. And Rick Barron used it 1 time. And Carol, you used it twice. And I don't know if Steve or Viola used it, I didn't catch it. That's it.
Very good, and you might as well stay up here.
Well, let me get my
And
report.
here's
Oh,
the
it
timer.
is. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, since I gave the word of the day, which was candor, here it is. Okay. Now, on the table topics, Lynn, you're 1 minute and 20 seconds. Maddie, 54 seconds. You do better than I do. And Rick Davis, 1 minute. Now on the scheduled speakers, Viola, great speech. You are 6 minutes and 21 seconds. Steve, 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Now your evaluations, Rick, you are 1 minute and 59 seconds, and Viola, 59 seconds. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mary, for doing double duty this evening. We do have one extra little thing to do today, and if Viola would come back up here one moment. Let's give Viola a hand here. To recognize you for your first speech, we have a ribbon that shows you did your icebreaker.
Oh, my
Congratulations.
goodness. Oh, thank you.
You can put that in your office if you want. It's a conversation piece. I would like to return control of the meeting to the Toastmaster, which is me, which will return the control of the meeting to the... I enjoyed the meeting tonight. I was looking forward to it. I couldn't wait for our first Thursday meeting, and I would return control of the meeting to our president, Rick Barron.
Thank you, Carol. Well, what did you think? Our very first second meeting of the month on a Thursday evening at 6 p.m. at the Anderson Center. We're TV Toastmasters, and we ask you to come join us. If you're looking for a way, like Viola, to overcome your fear of public speaking, you can do that right here. You can come to a supportive, helpful, friendly environment, and we'll be there growing with you through the entire process. And if you can't make it on the first Thursday, please join us on the third Saturday, 9 o'clock in the morning, 7850 5 Mile Road. If you'd like additional information, please visit our website, www.tvtoastmasters.com. This concludes our second meeting of TV Toastmasters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now for our next speaker, Stanley Glitchner.
Speaking in public doesn't have to be a death sentence. At Toastmasters, we can help you overcome your fears.